Greetings everyone! Welcome to episode 3 of Sexy Neckbeard's Let's Play Kerbal Space Program. So this one's called Kerman Strangelove, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love Blowing Up Vehicles. Something like that. And really the idea is let's just look at some silly vehicle designs. But before I do, I want to mention some updates I made to the ugly shark. Well, you're going to notice right away that I took out the middle wing. That's the most obvious change. The next one, which is more impactful but maybe less obvious, is that I'm down to a single engine design instead of 2 engines. And why would I do any of this? Well, let me show you the performance while I describe it. The idea was for the ugly shark to be able to go and pick up a Kerman or a Kerwoman or... well, I don't know. Are these guys asexual? Well, we don't know enough about the Kerman, but I wanted to be able to go and retrieve a fallen space pod anywhere on Kerbal. To do that, I want to make sure I have enough fuel to get there. We saw from the polar expedition, which I will never repeat, that the Ugly Shark 1 Mark 6 barely had enough fuel to get there, and I had some huge inefficient travel direction, but I still don't know if it would be enough to get there and back. This guy is much lighter, much more efficient, so in every way he should be able to do it. Now, the disadvantage of having only one engine is that I really feel I have to warm up on the runway now. I need to get it up to about 95, and then I'll floor it, go to 100%, and you'll see that the engine starts overheating rather quickly. But I have never been able to get this aircraft off of the ground prior to the edge of the runway, which is different than the Ugly Shark 1 Mark 6. So this new design, it's just less powerful. Also, its cruising speed is less. Instead of having a cruising speed of around 160, we now have a cruising speed of around 105. So even more reasons why I don't want to actually do the long distance flight. So what is the good news about this? Well, yeah, it's massively energy efficient, fuel efficient, and it glides extremely easily. It recovers from really rather silly maneuvering. And one thing I'm going to notice, if I can draw your attention to the nav ball, is this thing is so light and so glider-like that I can actually get this thing to act like a piece of paper almost, where its direction of travel is one way, but the actual direction it's facing and the direction it wants to go is another. So with the light yellow being the direction of travel and the orange being the direction I'm facing, if I just pull a really tight turn, we can see that I leave the ball completely behind, which means I'm moving in a direction which I'm not facing. That's really not good. It can lead to stuff such as stalling and all that, but the good news is this thing is such an amazing glider that it will recover if you just almost take your hands off and just let it keep going in the direction it's trying to go. Okay, well, that's enough about this guy. Let's just get him down onto the ground. Maybe I'll briefly show you how well he glides. So, line us up for landing. I mean, that's just ridiculous, that maneuver right there. I don't know if it's just an anomaly of the, oh dear. We have some real problems here. Is that not, it's like a piece of paper. Like I said, it's like a piece of paper. We spin out of control and yet nothing happens. So yeah, I really am going to chalk this up to some kind of anomaly of the physics in Kerbal Space Program, the game. But, nonetheless, it's really interesting that I have found this anomaly. And I also want to make this available to any of the viewers who wants to use it. If somebody lets me know where the files are located, probably somewhere buried in the users directory, I'd be more than happy to upload this or give it to anybody who wants. Because I really find it's a very nice, user-friendly craft. It's a good way to get used to flying vehicles in this game. So, okay. So there it is, landed, no problem. So easy to fly. We'll just end this flight. The last thing I want to do is I want to rename this. I've never liked the name Ugly Shark. And ever since our polar expedition, which I will never do again, I've always wanted to rename it. I was just looking for an excuse. So let's call this, because of its victory, we will call this new design the Polar Shark. Now, without further ado, let's get over to the other interesting vehicles for this episode. I did create a new, don't know what to say about this. I call it the Drunken Squid. It's basically a land vehicle, so that's why it doesn't swim. I call it a squid, although it's squid can swim. Anyways, this is essentially a fuel transport, and I have no idea what purpose that will serve in this game whatsoever. The good news is that I can test my ladder deployment system with it and with the Ugly Shark, which I have selected. So I landed one about 10 kilometers away, and we'll be able to see how this thing works as soon as we get over there. So as you can see, it has wheels everywhere. Big ones, small ones. It's designed to take all terrain. It can get going very fast. So it's quite a nice surface vehicle. 100 meters per second, mind you, is more or less 180 miles per hour. So this thing is really hauling. Probably too fast. But it's nice. I mean, so we're doing 150 miles per hour, so I guess meters per second is just about half the number in miles per hour. So right now we would be breaking the land speed limit for vehicles in basically every... Uh-oh. It does not turn very well, though. It does not turn very well. Ah, there we go. Because it has these rover legs, it's really not designed to be fast. So we have to really get it down. It's only a straight line speed demon. So maybe this was not a good idea. If I can't get this thing to turn, you know, it's pointless. Oh dear. There we go. Wait, no! No! Okay. Back to the drawing board. So, make this the Mark III. Save, and let's give it some tail fins. Okay, good. Well, this time she held together. I just kept the speed around 50 meters per second, which is probably advisable. That's still like 100 miles per hour. I mean, yeah, all-terrain vehicles usually don't go 100 miles per hour. So, and this is hilly, and you can see there's bumps I'm going up and down on. Lost a wheel last time, so that wasn't good. Anyways, 2 kilometers away, real close. The only thing I didn't put on here, which I should add, is some lights. That would be nice. You can see what you're doing then. Oh, we're only a kilometer away now. Let's take it nice and easy through this terrain. It's really working well. What I did different is I put 2 wheels right underneath the bottom at the center of the mass, so that when there's big dips, those wheels should still support the weight. So let's go ahead and apply brakes now. If you right click this, it acts as like always on brakes. So what I want to do is to extend the ladder and see if I can get this ugly shark thing to fly with one of my passengers. Okay, good. We're at a stop. Let's extend the ladder. And okay, so he's able to climb down pretty easily. Can he go up on this? Oh, amazing. Oh my goodness, that's amazing. Go, be free. Run off, yeah. Whee! Okay, good. So we got here successfully. We need to extend this. Extend this ladder as well. See if I can get into this. I put it up. The question is, can I climb up on top of it? Yeah, this was as I feared. So now we've gotten a chance to see the Drunken Squid 1 Mark 6 in action, and I will say I also ended up fixing the ladder on the ugly shark so that it now a crewman can get up to the cockpit. So everything is looking good. Now the only sad thing is first we have to spend a brief moment to recognize the efforts of the 3 test pilots, Bill, Jebediah, and Bob Kerman, who lost their lives while testing the Drunken Squid. And although we will never forget their sacrifices, we do want to quickly forget about the debris that the Drunken Squid left behind when it killed them. So you saw in the previous videos that there's still debris hanging around. How do we get rid of it? Well, if you're Sexy Neckbeard, and the reason why I want to get rid of it is because the OCD is strong in this one. But if you're Sexy Neckbeard, the answer is not to go onto Google and to search for a legitimate solution. It's to devise some kind of crazy, mad scientist solution on your own. And to that purpose, I built the debris maker. The idea of this is to make basically a rocket bomb. So put 3 components of jet fuel together, strap an engine on so it can get where it needs to go, put some really stupid wheel attachments, and make every part on this have a low impact tolerance, which we'll see even these structural components, which usually have a high impact tolerance. I chose this one, which has an impact tolerance of 7. And nothing on this has an impact tolerance higher than 20. So the idea is to run in with this thing at high speed, crash into the debris you want to remove, and hope that when it blows up, it takes everything with it, the debris you ran over, and everything in it as well. So that's the idea in principle. In practice, it really, I don't know why, it's like I knew this when I named it this, that it really ended up just making more debris than it ever destroyed. The first model, the impact tolerance of this was so low that the wheel actually fell off when I went off the 1 meter drop off the runway. Well, that's not good. So I went to a shorter version just to see if that would help lessen the load on this, but then the nose hit. Okay, well that's not good, so our nose blew up. Now we go back to another version, and unfortunately the wheels still fell off on this even though I added these struts. So what do? Well, we have to abandon that very weak wheel, and even though these wheels have an impact tolerance of 50, I was just risking it. Problem with this design is it gets off the runway, but it has no ability to turn. Despite the 2 wings in the back and the center wing to keep it going straight, these wheels, they really resist any movement left or right. So I can't control this. The final iteration is the Debris Maker Mark V, and we'll take that one out for a spin. A few of the things you can notice about it are that yes, I have a pair of wheels right underneath the center of mass, which always helps when this thing bobs up and down. It keeps it from separating. The next thing you can notice is I decided to go with the rover wheels. And you probably noticed this in the previous videos because you're an intelligent person and I am not, that these wheels, the actual tread of the tire is lost as soon as you head above 60 meters per second. So you probably saw that on the Drunken Squid, that the tires were ripping off and it was just left with the little metal stub. I didn't notice that, and I just wanted to mention that that's one thing to be careful of. So, I have some debris over here. I just wanted to kind of show you what this thing is like, how it behaves, and I should say that even though you get it going over 60 meters per second and you'll lose these tires, this thing behaves very, very well. So it's pretty stable. What's the problem? When you actually want to run into some debris, so let me just get this, well, looks like it might just blow up on its own, but okay. When it runs into something, despite the fact that it should remove the debris, it ends up just creating more of it. Now if you had something like this happen, you just hit restart flight, and this eliminates all the debris that you just caused in your current crash. Like, you can see now there's no debris where I just crashed. So restarting a flight is like loading a save game. Okay, at that point I kinda gave up on the Debris Maker. It lives up to its name too well. So if a design where everything is supposed to disintegrate doesn't work, what do you go with? A design where nothing is supposed to disintegrate. And I affectionately call this the Destroyer of Worlds. This behemoth is designed to run over debris with its big anteater nose. As you can see, I really took care to make sure this was structurally sound. And I wanted to run over debris, destroy the debris, and have nothing on the Destroyer of Worlds broken. So this just kind of vacuums up debris. The Mark I, not successful. I don't remember why. And the Mark II, I do remember. The nose kept hitting and breaking off. So I can just demonstrate this to you very quickly. The other problem with this is, as if I already hadn't learned this lesson, I forgot that rockets do not turn without wings. And you'll notice there are no wings on this. So this can only turn with wheels, and that doesn't work as soon as you are using rockets. Okay, but let's just see what happens when I take this slowly off. What happens if I go off? You can see it hits. Okay, it survived this hit. But let's just get going faster. And what ends up happening is if this bumps up, see, it bumped against the ground there, and that leads to some failure. And what you'll notice is, let me restart this flight. What you'll notice about the wheels is that they have an impact tolerance of 150. Extremely high. The problem though is, so I based my next design, my next version on this. Let's just use the wheels to run it over, since the nose obviously doesn't work. And the problem with this is the wheels are rated for an impact tolerance of 150, but that doesn't mean that upon impact the wheels will stay connected to your vehicle. They won't blow up, but they also won't stay attached, and just in general, this is not a solution. So, what do we finally do? We end up conceding our lack of knowledge, and we go to Google, we search for a solution, and what is that solution? The solution is you just need to get close enough to the debris. Whoops. And I have a Drunken Squid Mark 8, which is my newest version. It's for going very fast on the ground. It has some side wings that keep it pinned to the ground, you'll see. So these keep it at high speed, pinned to the ground, so it doesn't fly up in the air. Now, I am next to a bunch of debris from a previous Drunken Squid, which didn't make it. I'm going to use the square brackets, left or right, and I am now focusing on different pieces of debris. And this also works in space. On the ground, I have to drive my vehicle within 1 kilometer. In space, I think it works maybe a further distance away, or maybe it's also within 1 kilometer. So when you're within 1 kilometer, you can hit the square brackets to change your focus. Now when I'm on this, I just hit end flight, and I go back to tracking station and select my Drunken Squid once more, and I can keep cycling through this. Go back, choose another piece of debris, end flight. Every time I end flight, that piece of debris is removed. So wash, rinse, repeat. You do this ad nauseum, and eventually you'll have a debris-free land. And that should do it for this episode. Thanks for watching, guys. Next episode, I will be putting my satellite into space, and from there we'll continue my space empire construction.